run you through those 6 counts and the persons involved in this all-important case, one that has piqued a lot of interest. It was a subject matter of conversation when the CSOs met the president last week about prosecuting politically exposed persons in the country's fight against illegal mining. Here is what we know based on the sheets, the charge sheet, as we've seen placed before the High Court today. And amongst many other things, the Republic versus Bernard Chibuesiako and 2 others. Who are the individuals involved? Bernard Chibuesiako himself, known affectionately as Chairman Wontumi. Then there is one Kwame Anti, who we understand is at large. He's a second accused person in this case. And then there is Akonta Mining Company Limited, the company owned by Wontumi, also treated as a separate entity and an individual on its own who can be sued. And so these are the 3 individuals who have been accused. But let's get into the charges against Wontumi and the 2 others. And the first count is assignment of mineral rights without approval from the minister. This charge specifically going to Chairman Wontumi. Then the count 2, the same offense really, assignment of mineral rights without approval from the minister. This one for Kwame Nti, who is at large. Then we see the third count, assignment of mineral rights without approval, and that is corporate liability for unauthorized assignment. That as well slapped on Chairman Wontumi. Then purposely facilitating unlicensed mining contrary to the country's mining laws. That slapped on Chairman Wontumi as well. Then this one, same charge, purposely facilitating unlicensed mining contrary to mining laws. That charge slapped on Kwame Nti, who we understand is at large. And then the final count, the 6th count, corporate facilitation of unlicensed mining, and that is the Akonta Mining Company Limited, owned by Bernard Chibuesiako, but being treated as a separate entity. And so it will be expected to answer for this charge in and by itself. But let's go over to the court right now, where my colleague Lord Eduasare has been stationed for us all throughout the morning. Remember, this hearing in this first matter started as early as 9 a.m. when we connected with him. We got the indication that Chairman Wontumi was already in court with his lawyers and was awaiting the arrival of the Attorney General. Let's get a bit more in terms of the details from him. Lord, thank you very much for joining us. And so a 15 million cedis bail, but his plea was taken as well. Walk us through proceedings as it played out today.
Right, Marina. So, like indicated, Chairman Wontumi Bernard Chibuesiako, the Ashanti Regional MPP chairperson, pleaded not guilty to the 2 charges that you rightly outlined earlier. Now, the case is against himself, another person, Kwame Nti, and then the third being his company. Now, with Chairman Wontumi being a co-shareholder of the company, he represented himself as well as Akonta Mining. So, essentially, the charges were read for him, and then the Akonta Mining charges was also read to him, and then he pleaded not guilty to all of them. Now, his lead counsel, led by Andy Apiakubi, he indicated that Bernard Chibuesiako, Chairman Wontumi, is a very known person, respectable person, a family man with wives and children, and so it's not something that if he is granted bail, he would flee. He indicated that he's a man of substance. His sureties are on standby. They are people who are also people of substance and will be able to post the bail when he is given. He indicated that there was an incident where the Attorney General indicated that he had to compel him to report to the CID on Monday. But the situation was that it was he, the lawyer, who was on his way when he got the call on Friday to be invited to the CID. And so he prayed to rather report on Tuesday. And so it cannot be said that it was his client, Chairman Wontumi, who was delaying and refused to report to the CID. Now, the prosecution led by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, he did not oppose to that bail application by lawyers for Chairman Wontumi. However, he indicated that due to the nature of the case, has to do with Galamsey, that issue as of now is the biggest threat to the country's democracy, security, and so it shouldn't be taken lightly. It indicated that the terms of the bill should be such that Wontumi will not, as it were, abscond or leave the jurisdiction. He prayed for very tough bail conditions. For example, he indicated that once convicted, or if convicted, Wontumi stands there's a propensity for him to go away for at least 15 years if he's convicted of the charges leveled against him. Indicated that by virtue of the fact that he's a man of substance, if the money is not something which is weighty enough, he could get around it and then leave the jurisdiction. And so he was essentially playing for tight terms of the bill.
Right.
After hearing the arguments from the both counsels, the presiding judge in the matter, Audrey Kokuvi, indicated that she was going to grant the bill since there hasn't been any opposition, and then outlined the terms. For example, so it was a 15 million bill with 3 conditions, 3 sureties. 2 of those sureties are supposed to present landed properties, and then Wontumi himself is supposed to submit his passport, and then his name has been posted on the stop list on all the entry points in the country, so he does not leave the jurisdiction. Additionally, he's supposed to report to the investigator twice a month, which is every first Monday and then Wednesday of the month. Now, for the investigators, they are supposed to, as it were, file documents or evidence of entry to indicate that Wontumi indeed has reported to the investigators, so that things to go on smoothly from then onward. So as we speak right now, his lawyers and then the people who are putting the bill, or the sureties, are still upstairs trying to work out the documentation. And so they haven't descended yet. This place is very crowded, full, and so we are waiting for that. The Attorney General, I spoke to him earlier. He indicated that, Minor, you recall that in the morning we were talking about the fact that there are 2 cases against Wontumi. There's a second case which will be heard later in the day. The Deputy Attorney General confirmed, but when I prodded further for him to give me details of that case, he decided not to speak on it. So we'll be here to monitor, especially what the second case is on, and then we'll revert to this.
Right. It's important to mention that there's another case, but we don't know details of that other case just as yet. But as we speak now, Chairman Wontumi and his lawyers are upstairs trying to settle this 15 million cedis bill conditions and all of that. But now talk to us about the security presence at the law court complex and what the area is looking like, considering who is in court today and all of the interest in this matter.
Well, today was certainly the first working day, if I should say, as far as the courts are concerned, because the legal break is over, and so it got resumed today. Now, CID operatives were full here. They were posted at all the entry points, 4 of the entry points here at the Accra High Court. The CID operatives who had their vests on, others were, I could count as much as 6 pickup trucks, and then there's a bus, there's the FCU truck, and so they are littered all over the premises. Some are stationed outside the premises, and then some within the premises. And so, as for the number of officials, I can't really count because there are actually numerous, one of them due to the nature of the case and the person who is it. Minor, you recall that when Wontumi was at the police headquarters yesterday, there were some enthusiasts or party supporters who nearly created some form of trouble. And so I believe that CID operatives or the police essentially wanted to make sure that there won't be a repeat of that. And so even right in the morning, they're not allowing people to come inside the premises. Only designated people or workers or people who are of interest in the case could enter the premises. And so they did all this, cordon the place off to make sure that security is tight and then there's no trouble whatsoever.
Lord, thank you very much, and we'll continue to monitor the developments there on that second case involving Chairman Wontumi and bring you details of. Also, the second accused is Enchi, Kwame Enchi. Might have been a slight omission of the W there as well. But we can bring you a lot more stories in relation to the Galamsey conversation.